In a sunny green meadow filled with tall grass and sweet-smelling flowers, lived a hare who was very, very proud. This hare had long, strong legs that could carry him across the field in the blink of an eye. He was the fastest animal anyone knew, and oh, he knew it too. He would often leap and bound around just to show off his incredible speed. "Look at me! Can anyone be as quick as I am? I am the fastest in the whole wide world, and no one can ever hope to beat me in a race." His voice was always loud and full of boasts, making sure everyone heard him. Living in the very same meadow was a tortoise. The tortoise was the opposite of the hare in almost every way. He had short, sturdy legs and a heavy shell on his back. He moved slowly and carefully, taking his time with every single step. The tortoise was calm and thoughtful, never in a hurry to get anywhere. He enjoyed watching the clouds drift by and feeling the warm sun on his shell. He didn't feel the need to shout or show off. He was happy just being himself, moving at his own peaceful pace through the world, noticing all the little things the hare was too fast to see. The hare loved to make fun of the tortoise more than anyone else. "Hello there, Mr. Slow and Steady. Are you still on your morning walk? I've already run to the river and back 3 times today." The tortoise would simply smile a slow, kind smile and continue on his way. He never let the hare's teasing words bother him. He knew that everyone moved through life at their own speed, and his speed was just right for him. The hare's words were like water rolling off his strong protective shell. One bright morning the hare was boasting even more than usual. He ran circles around the tortoise, kicking up little puffs of dust. "You are so slow it must take you a whole day just to cross this field," he teased. The other animals gathered around, some giggling and some feeling a little sorry for the gentle tortoise. The hare thought he was very clever and funny, but the tortoise just looked at him with his wise old eyes. He had been listening to the hare's bragging for a long, long time, and an idea was beginning to form in his slow but very steady mind. The tortoise, tired of the hare's endless boasting, finally spoke up. His voice was quiet, but it was clear and firm for all to hear. "Mr. Hare," he said calmly, "you are indeed very fast. But being fast is not everything. I believe that even I, as slow as I am, could beat you in a race." A hush fell over the crowd of animals. The hare stopped his prancing and stared at the tortoise, his ears twitching in disbelief. Then, he burst into the loudest laugh he had ever laughed. "You? Beat me? That is the funniest joke I have ever heard in my entire life." But the tortoise did not laugh. He looked the hare straight in the eye and said, "I am serious. Let's have a race to the big oak tree at the edge of the forest. The first one to touch the tree wins." The hare, wiping tears of laughter from his eyes, quickly agreed. The idea of racing the slow tortoise was too amusing to pass up. He thought it would be an easy win and a great story to tell for years to come. The other animals began to buzz with excitement, a race between the fastest and the slowest creature in the meadow. A wise old owl was chosen to be the judge and marked the finish line. The next day, all the animals gathered to watch the great race. The sun was shining and the path to the big oak tree was clear. The hare bounced up and down at the starting line, stretching his long legs and wiggling his nose. He looked over at the tortoise, who was standing quietly, his head held high. The hare couldn't help but chuckle one last time. He felt so sure of himself, so certain that this race would be over in just a few minutes. He planned to leave the tortoise far, far behind in a cloud of dust. The owl hooted loudly, "On your marks, get set, go!" In a flash, the hare was gone. He shot off like an arrow from a bow, a brown blur against the green grass. The crowd of animals cheered as he disappeared down the path. The tortoise, on the other hand, started his journey with one slow, deliberate step, then another, and another. He did not look at the cheering crowd or worry about the hare's incredible speed. He just kept his eyes on the path ahead and began his long, steady journey toward the far-off oak tree. The hare ran so fast that he was soon halfway to the finish line. He stopped and looked back down the long, winding path. He couldn't see the tortoise anywhere. He was so far behind that he was just a tiny, tiny speck in the distance if he was visible at all. "Ha!" the hare said to himself, feeling very pleased. "I told everyone I would win easily. I have so much time. That slowpoke tortoise will take all day to get here." He felt a wonderful sense of victory already, even though the race was not yet finished. He was completely sure that there was no way he could possibly lose. Feeling so confident, the hare decided he didn't need to hurry. The sun was warm, and a patch of soft green clover by the side of the road looked very inviting. "I think I will just rest here for a little while," he thought. "A quick rest won't hurt. I can take a little nap, and when I wake up, I'll still have plenty of time to finish the race long before that tortoise even gets close. He found the perfect spot under a shady bush, where the leaves would protect him from the hot sun. He yawned a big yawn, feeling sleepy from his fast run and the heat of the day. The hare lay down in the soft clover, closed his eyes, and in just a few moments, he was fast asleep. He dreamed of winning the race, and of all the animals cheering his name. He dreamed of the big party they would throw for him, the fastest animal in the world. He was so sure of his victory that his mind was completely at ease, allowing him to fall into a deep and peaceful slumber. The gentle breeze rustled the leaves above him, and the world of the race faded away as he slept soundly without a single worry. Meanwhile, the tortoise kept moving. He didn't run and he didn't rush, he just kept putting one foot in front of the other slowly and steadily. Plod, plod, plod. He saw the hare sleeping under the bush. He could have stopped to say something or even to laugh, but he didn't. The tortoise knew the race wasn't over until someone crossed the finish line, so he kept his focus and continued on his journey. He walked right past the sleeping hare, his eyes fixed on the big oak tree that was now getting closer and closer with every single patient step. The sun began to sink lower in the sky, casting long shadows across the meadow. The hare slept on, lost in his dreams of victory. He had no idea how much time had passed. He didn't know that the slow and steady tortoise had already passed him, and was now very near the finish line. The hare was so proud of his speed that he had forgotten the most important part of the race. You have to keep going until the very end. His nap, which he thought would be short, had turned into a long, deep sleep, and his big lead had completely disappeared while he was dreaming. Suddenly, the hare woke up with a start. The air was cooler and the light was softer. He looked around feeling a little confused. Then he remembered the race. He jumped to his feet and looked down the path toward the starting line. There was no sign of the tortoise. Then he looked the other way, toward the finish line. He gasped. Far in the distance, he could see a small, dark shape. It was the tortoise, just a few steps away from the big oak tree. The hare's heart pounded in his chest. He couldn't believe it. He had been so sure of himself, and now he was about to lose. With a burst of panic, the hare began to run as fast as he ever had before. His legs flew over the ground, a blur of motion. "Wait! Wait for me!" he shouted, but it was too late. Just as the hare was getting close, the tortoise took his final steady step and touched the trunk of the big oak tree. He had crossed the finish line. The crowd of animals who had been waiting patiently erupted in a huge cheer. They lifted the tortoise onto their shoulders, celebrating his amazing and unexpected victory. They had all learned something very important that day. The hare skidded to a stop, panting and out of breath. He watched as the animals honored the calm and happy tortoise. He felt ashamed. He had been so fast, but his pride had made him careless. He had learned a hard lesson. The wise old owl flew down and announced to everyone, "Let this be a lesson to all of us. The tortoise has shown us that you don't always have to be the fastest or the strongest. Sometimes all it takes is to keep going step by step without giving up." And from that day on, everyone in the meadow remembered the great race and the timeless truth. Slow and steady wins the race.